Good morning, everybody. We have a sharply higher trade in the grain markets here early on Monday morning. It is 6:30 a.m. Central Time. July corn futures up 17 cents at 6.99 and 3/4. December corn up 23 and a half at 6.15. July soybeans up 25 and a quarter cents at 16.09. November soybeans up 33 cents at 14.68 and a half. July Chicago wheat up 11 and a half cents at 6.99 and a half. July Kansas City wheat up 11 and a half at 6.48. July spring wheat up 16 and 3/4 at 8.29 and a half. If you're listening on the podcast, as always, thank you for coming back. Leave me a review or a rating if you have not already. If you are watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like the video. If you like this content, guys, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the videos. That'll really help me to spread this stuff out. It keeps the channel going. Much appreciated. If you need some additional assistance from me, go to my website. It is www.standardgrain.com. You can go to that website, click on Grain Marketing Plan here in the upper right-hand corner. For $49 a month, I offer a subscription service. It includes my morning email, which goes out every business day at 6:30 a.m. Central Time. It includes my text message service, my subscriber-only videos and content, all my grain marketing recommendations. Yesterday, I sent out a video to subscribers regarding the weather situation. This was yesterday in the morning, and I'm going to be doing this all summer, I think, on Sunday, and just kind of give you an update on what the forecasts are saying, what the implication is for the market. So if you're interested in that sort of stuff, in addition to all of the other stuff, this is part of the subscription package, of course. Weather is, of course, I believe, the biggest probably headline event here today. Some of the driest U.S. corn and soybean areas will remain mostly dry. Forecasts this morning suggest little rainfall for key areas of Iowa, South Dakota, southern Minnesota, northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin. Now, we did see a little bit of rain in North Dakota over the weekend, which is our most problematic state in regard to drought. I'm not sure what the amounts were. There's still some rain on the radar over North Dakota this morning. The eastern Corn Belt, over the next week, even 2 weeks, is going to be a lot wetter by comparison. That's not really your problem area at all. The problems are these drier areas in the west, and I've got a few maps I'm going to show you here this morning, guys. I'm not a weatherman by any means, but I know how to look at a weather map, and I've been looking at them for a long time. To give you kind of the lay of the land here, this is the drought monitor, and before I show you anything else, I want to show you kind of where the problem areas are. Iowa, the northern 2/3 is a problem area. South Dakota, almost the entire state is a problem area in regard to drought. Southern Minnesota, far northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, North Dakota, of course, the glaring problem here when it comes to drought. And then when you go out east, you really don't have much. I mean, Illinois looks good for the most part. Indiana looks good. Michigan is very, very dry. Ohio looks good. Down here in Tennessee, Kentucky, we've been too wet, if anything. So now we're going to look at some forecasts, and I'm going to give you guys the very, very simplified version here. This is the Weather Prediction Center map for the next 7 days, what we'll see in total. You can see here Iowa is void of anything significant, a tenth, a quarter of an inch at most, just scattered stuff. So Iowa to remain dry. Most of South Dakota to remain dry. North Dakota, they're talking a little bit of rain in some of these pockets. I mean, up to a couple inches of rain over the next 7 days in some areas, but most of the state is still going to see, an inch or less. So is this a drought busting event for North Dakota? Maybe for some areas it could be very helpful, but in the grand scheme of things, no. So, I mean, basically your very dry areas here, a lot of them, Iowa, southern Minnesota, this pocket of northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin that I talked about, going to remain dry, and that's the next 7 days. This is the 6 to 10 day map, so going out beyond 7 days, the Weather Prediction Center is calling for below normal precipitation. Same thing with temperatures above normal temperatures for the 6 to 10 day period, and these maps actually look pretty similar for the 8 to 14 day period as well. In regard to temperature, this is kind of a moving image of what we'll see here over the next, I think, week. And you can see here the temperatures are going to be largely above normal for the Corn Belt for the next 7 days. When we turn to something below normal there, that's kind of toward the end of the period. So, I mean, grand scheme of thing here, guys, most of your areas that have been dry, again, are going to kind of stay on the dry side, and that's the problem here. And the market is very sensitive to weather because our balance sheets are so tight. Now, the U.S. is not the only place with weather problems. Estimates for Brazil's corn crop continue to fall even further. Well-followed group IHS Markit pegged the crop at 88 million metric tons versus its previous estimate of 93. That is the lowest estimate now from any well-followed private group. USDA is still at 102, CONAB's at 106.4. Both countries are likely, in my opinion at least, to reduce those estimates in their respective government reports this week. USDA had this Brazilian corn crop penciled at 110 back last fall. So this sort of estimate represents a 20% decline versus initial expectations in regard to the Brazilian corn crop. Chinese soybean imports surged in May. Imports in May totaled 9.61 million metric tons. That was up 29% from April 7.45. Most of these shipments are from Brazil. And Brazilian shipments have been delayed a little bit due to a late harvest, but imports from Brazil to China should be good for another couple of months at least. U.S. beans are not competitive by any means right now. That situation is not likely to change until harvest. Brazil, of course, in addition to having a huge crop and cheaper beans, also has a big freight advantage to China versus the U.S. Gulf. It's like 65 cents a bushel cheaper to ship beans out of Brazil versus the U.S. Gulf. So should see a lot more exports from Brazil to China in regard to soybeans. We do have a USDA report this week. This is the monthly crop production and WASDE report. It'll be out on Thursday morning. USDA is not likely at all to change its new crop production estimates. When you'll start to see that is first off at the end of the month when we see the planted acreage report. That's the bigger report this month is June 30th. But in this report on Thursday, you'll see some demand adjustments on the old crop balance sheets, probably on the world balance sheets, probably that Brazilian corn number. But again, the bigger report, in my opinion at least, is at the end of the month. Reports, we've got export inspections and crop progress will be out at 3 o'clock today after the close. Cash cattle was 120 on Friday in Texas. We've been kind of floating around that area for a while. We'll see what develops here today. The box beef market was a little bit lower on Friday. In the outside markets this morning, kind of quiet in the stocks. The Dow Jones is up 32 points. S&P's down 2. Gold's down $2 to $3. We've got the U.S. dollar just a few ticks lower here. Crude oil is down 18 cents at 69.43 in the July WTI. Pretty strong trade in the crude overall. Bonds are down just a little bit. Pretty quiet in the outside markets. Again, weather driving the grain prices. If you guys need some more information from me, shoot me an email, info@standardgrain.com. I will talk to you same time tomorrow.